What's up guys, it's Kelly and today I am doing yet another 3 looks to 1 palette video. You guys seem to be enjoying these so far. I love doing them. Personally, I am a palette girl. I do not like buying individual eyeshadows. I love buying palettes, but it's hard for me to justify buying a palette unless I know I can do multiple different eye makeup looks with it. So today I'm partnering up with Karity to show you guys their Picante palette. This is basically what I've been wearing on my eyes for the last few weeks that you guys have been asking about. Just a really gorgeous sunsetty type of color scheme going on here. We've got the yellows, we've got the oranges, we've got the reds, and we've got the purples. So if you guys haven't heard of Karity before, basically it is just a really affordable, cruelty-free makeup brand. And one of the really cool things that I love about Karity is that with each palette sold, they donate a meal to an animal in need. So that's just something really cool. So I always encourage buying them. But yeah, so I love this palette. Like I said, I've been using it pretty much nonstop. And one of the cool things that I love about it is that you can just pretty much do a monochromatic look with each of the colors that are in here. Like you could do a fully yellow look, you could do a fully orange look, you could do a fully purple look. That's not what I'm going to be showing you guys today. I kind of wanted to just do a little bit more with the palette, so that's what we're going to be doing. So if you're interested, then just keep on watching. So just jumping right into the first look, I'm just going to take this tan color Delia and just put it all over my lid. I always start in the outer corner and work in circular motions and work my way in towards the center of the eye. So this is going to be like a nice little yellow, brown, gold halo eye look. And I'm really going to be concentrating on working the crease, and then we're going to focus on the lid a little bit later. So just putting that all over the crease and underneath my eye as well. Then I'm just going to go in with this color Dune, which is like a gorgeous mustard color, and I'm pretty much going to do the same thing but with a slightly denser fluffy brush. So I am going to pack that onto my lid, and then I am also working that into the crease. This is a very yellow centered look, and I love doing looks like this. This is one of the ones that you can do with really any color scheme. You can do it with the yellows, you can do it with the oranges, you can do it with the reds, you can even do it with kind of a pinky color scheme in this one. Then I'm going to take the color Ember, and I'm actually using I'm starting off with a dry brush, but I ended up spraying it a little bit and just using a wet brush just because it takes a little bit more to pack on shimmers with a brush. If you want to use your finger, it would be a little bit easier, but I was trying to be a little professional in this video. So just kind of packing that onto the center of my lid. I'm going a little bit further past the center than I actually want the color to be, but I am going to be covering up a little bit of that with my darker color. So I'm just kind of giving myself some space for the transition, if that makes sense. So at some point during the filming of this video, obviously I got frustrated with the brush and I just started using my finger anyway, so much for me being a super professional. But you can see how easy it is to pack on shimmers with the finger. So then I'm going to take this color Pimento, which is just a really nice orangey sort of, is ochre a color? Because that's how I feel like this is. And I'm just going to put that on the outer and inner corner of my eye, just kind of starting off that transition. Then I'm going to take the color Fearless, which is a really gorgeous little champagne color, and I'm just going to pop that into the center just to make that yellow a little bit brighter. So now I'm going in with the darkest color in the palette. It's called Bittersweet. It's a really warm brown, and I'm going to start to work that in the very edge of my eye as well as the inner corner of my eye. If it weren't for this video, I would probably have just done it with all of the yellow shades, but I did want it to look a little bit more dramatic on camera, so that's why we're adding in that brown. But I really honestly love the way that these colors turned out together. I think they look so beautiful. So going back in with Pimento and just kind of blending out that really dark brown and kind of just working my way back and forth, and then putting the same colors on my lower lash line as well. I don't really focus too heavily on making that a halo. So again, just taking that color Fearless with a little brush, and I'm just going to put that on my inner corner. Again, I usually would just use my pinky for this, but I am going to be my professional self. And now I'm just taking Bittersweet again. Like I said, I just kind of go back and forth between the two darkest colors just so that I have a nice little mixture of blending it out and also packing on a dark enough bit of color. These colors are really buildable, so it's easy to do. And then I'm just going to take the color Embers and I'm just going to lightly put that on the lower lash line. Like I said, I don't really focus on making that much of a halo as much as the rest of my eye. Just wanted to make it look a little bit nice. So still just packing it on. It's really a process. I feel like not a lot of people talk about how long it takes to kind of build up an eyeshadow look, so I'm trying to show you you guys as much of the process as possible, but it's kind of tedious. I don't know. So now that I'm done with the eyeshadow, I am just going to put on some of my liquid liner, and I'm just gonna complete the look. So what I do, I have really watery eyes, so I start off with a gel liner in the inner corner just to kind of start that off with something super waterproof that I can't blink off, and I start to build it up, and then I go in with my actual liquid liner with a felt tip, and I just draw on the rest of my wing. So throughout this video, you are going to see quite a few different variations of how I do this, just depending on my mood, which apparently changed a bunch of times during filming this video. I'm just going to take some black liner, and I'm just going to put that on my tight line. Is that what it's called? Waterline? Upper waterline? Huh. And then I'm going to take my mascara. I'm just going to put that on, as well as popping on some false lashes. Honestly, I kind of love this little thin wing. I usually do something thicker and a lot more dramatic, but kind of digging it just because it's such a light, airy kind of look. I feel like that light wing makes it look good too. But yeah, so here is that first look, my little golden halo eye. Now that I'm looking at it, it actually kind of looks a little bit orangey, but in real life, I felt like it was super gold. There was like some gold and some brown and just a ton of yellow. It's just a super springy, summery kind of look, and I was totally digging it. So now that you guys have watched me blinking in slow motion a decent amount with this eye makeup on, let me go ahead and show you another look. Instead of starting with that light color, we're just gonna jump right into it. I'm taking this color Bobby, which is a really saturated orange, again with that super fluffy brush, and I start off with the same technique, just starting in the outer corner, doing my little circular motions, and then working my way towards the inner corner of the eye. So this is gonna be a half cut crease. This is something that I love to do. Cut creases are kind of intimidating, but a half cut crease is significantly easier. Obviously, it is only half a cut crease, but also it's just a really dramatic way of making your eyes look bigger, and it doesn't take that much effort. There's a lot of room for error. You can make some decent mistakes and you can still look super good with it. So totally dig that. Just gonna put that on my lower lash line as well, just that super bright orange color. Next, I'm gonna take this color Harvest, which is a really gorgeous burnt orange, and I'm actually using a Karity brush for this. I'll link it down below, but they do have some really nice fluffy brushes, which I love using for blending, so definitely recommend those as well. But again, just kind of doing the same thing, just working it into my crease, deepening that area up, and just making this look super bright and fun. And I'm just gonna blend that out with my fluffier brush too. So now I'm gonna take the color Flamenco, which is kind of like an orangey reddish coral color, hard to describe, very gorgeous. I feel like that's the thing I love about Karity. These colors are so bright. Like, I feel like you don't really find colors like this very easily, and this one happens to be cruelty free, and it happens to be super inexpensive. So now we're just moving on to that half cut crease. I'm just using a little concealer brush, and I'm just gonna start drawing it on my eyes. If you guys watched, I did a recent video where I showed you guys how I kind of just blink, and that's where I can see where my line should be for my half cut crease. I'm gonna link it in the cards so you guys can check that out. Kind of skipped that part just because it took a really long time to kind of set up where I wanted my cut crease to be, and I'm just going a little bit further past what I thought I was going to do, just because I wanted to have some room for the colors to blend really nicely. So now just taking this color Fearless again, just a really gorgeous champagne color, and I'm going to put that on the inner corner, and then we're just gonna kind of work our way into a nice little ombre of colors. So I'm taking this extremely gorgeous burnt orangey gold color called Sunrise, probably my favorite color in this whole palette, just because it's so bright and super beautiful. Like, this would be a really nice halo eye color, but honestly, all of the shimmers in this palette are pretty good, so I'm just excited to be using this one. And then I'm going to finish off that transition with this really deep red shimmer called Fahrenheit, and I'm just going to put that on the outer corner of my cut crease there, and I'm just going to blend all the colors together. They do have some other shimmers in here that I could have used for transition, but I really like using as few shadows as possible to achieve a look. I feel like on YouTube you kind of always see people using like 18 eyeshadows just for one look, so I try not to do that. Now I'm taking the color Spice, Epis? Oh, maybe it's not Spice. It's EPIC. ICE, which I don't actually know what that means, but I'm gonna Google it. But I'm just putting that in my outer corner just to kind of darken up that outer corner and make it a little bit pinker. And then I'm gonna take this color Sunrise and I'm going to put it on my lower lash line, kind of just copying what I did on the top in a little bit more of a subtle way. And then I'm done with my eyeshadow. So once again, just gonna go in for my wing. So this time, for some reason, I decided to do my felt tip liner first. And maybe it's because I wanted to do something a little bit more dramatic, but honestly, it doesn't matter which order I do it in. I just personally like to do that. Even if I'm using a waterproof felt tip liner, I generally don't have issues with them bleeding or, you know, getting into my eyeshadow. But if I want to wear a look for a really long time, I think one surefire way to ensure that my eyes don't water and kind of ruin that is to use a little bit of a waterproof gel liner in that inner corner where I get all watery. Plus, I don't know about you guys, but I cry a lot, so this is a really surefire way of— why did I say surefire so many times already in this video? But whatever. This keeps my makeup from getting ruined. I can cry and still look pretty decent, but yeah, I cry all the time. That's not a cry for help, by the way, guys. I'm kind of joking, but I am an emotional person, so I don't think there's anything wrong with having a good cry. Anyway, I'm just gonna put a little bit of shadow over the waterline where I've put a little bit of black. I wanted it to be intense, but I don't want it to be too black and dramatic because there's no black eyeshadow in this look, so I kind of just covered that up a little bit with that dark pink. And then once again, just going in with my mascara, and then I'm going to pop on some false lashes so that I can blink in slow motion for you guys and be super dramatic. So here we have the final look, my little half cut crease, using all of these gorgeous shimmery colors and kind of blending that out with the gorgeous matte colors. This is my favorite look that I have done with this palette, honestly, and I love wearing looks like this because, especially with a nice cut crease, I have really small eyes, so doing a half cut crease like this really makes my eyes look bigger and brighter, I think. And even though it might seem like a little weird to kind of have that cut crease go over where your actual crease is, I just find that that helps in giving me a little bit more room to play around with. Like, I fake myself a bigger lid and then, I don't know, I just get to play with more colors and eyeshadows and stuff. Okay, so let's just jump into the last look. Again, taking the color Delia and just kind of working that into the outer corner. Again, same steps as my usual beginning of my eye makeup videos. This is a more subtle look. I wanted to show you guys that you can do subtle looks with really crazy colors like this. I don't even think they're that crazy, but maybe for people who just use neutrals. So I'm going to take the color Flamenco and I'm going to use that just to kind of work into my crease and just kind of darken that area up a little bit. Like I said, going for a dramatic color scheme, but not a dramatic eye look. This is actually what I'm wearing in the intro and outro of this video, just so you guys can get a feel for how that looks kind of just on the face. So I'm going to take that color Épice, which, by the way, I've Googled since I did that last commentary, and it means spice in another language, but Google was kind of confused as to whether it was German or French or Romanian. So maybe one of those, maybe multiples of those, but I'm just going to put that all over my lid and then kind of work it into my crease. And then I'm going to actually use my finger and I'm just going to press that on because I think applying eyeshadow with your finger is super good because it just makes the colors show up really nicely. So we're kind of just doing like a whole smoky pink eye, which doesn't sound good when I say it, but whatever. I'm taking the color Fuego and that's just a really gorgeous duochrome rose gold, and I'm just going to pop that into the inner corner just for a little pop of color. And then I am taking my eyeshadow. I'm taking my eyeliner and I'm just going to lightly put that on my waterline, and then I'm going to cover that up with that gorgeous pink eyeshadow again, and then I'm just going to go ahead and do my wing. I know this last look was actually super simple. I think it's really important to try, if you're the kind of person who's scared of using crazy colors, you can do a really light look using dramatic colors, and if you don't build them up, there's some types of eyeshadow that you can't really build them up. They just start off super pigmented, and I actually don't love that type as much because you don't really have as much room to play around with. This is one of the buildable kinds. I actually have worn this exact same look, the exact same eyeshadows, but I have built up that pink to be like super dark and dramatic, and it creates an entirely different effect. This is just a more subtle look. Honestly, I would wear this to work because it is super light and subtle, and I actually have worn this type of look to work. So yeah, And again, you can really just use any color in this palette to be kind of the star of the eye makeup look too. Alright, so this palette retails for $29 USD. I also have a discount code that you guys can use. I will write it right here as well as list it in the description so you guys can check that out. I'll also link the brushes that I used from Karity because I think their brushes are actually really good and they're also super affordable, which is really nice. But yeah, so that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you want to see more of these 3 looks 1 palette videos. If there's one that you want to see, just write it in the comments down below. If there's one that you see in the comments that you want to see me using, give it a like so I can check that out. Otherwise, just let me know which of the 3 looks is your favorite. And if you're not subscribed to my channel and you're interested in this type of stuff, please subscribe. I think that would be awesome. You could be part of the fam. And yeah, that's it. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Okay, so my fun fact is kind of dumb. But it's all I got, so here you go. I am really obsessive about keeping my phone charged at all times. Like, I get so anxious if it drops below 50% charge. Like, I'm always just scared that I'm just gonna be stranded somewhere with a dead phone. As soon as it drops below 50%, even if I'm home, if it drops below 50%, I charge it. But yeah, that's it. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.